All right, we're live. We're live.
And silence.
We're live.
Or as you do on Periscope, and you just are like, do I wait for people to show up?
Yeah,
It's
it's funny you guys mentioned that this week. I was looking at it this week as well. What are your thoughts on it?
It's got to be blowing up now because I've done two so far. I did my first one yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I had like 150, 160 people join. So
Wow.
I think it's I don't know. Like it's one of those things where it's like you gotta do it because this is the gold rush, and we know it's the gold rush right now, and so it's worth at least like investing some time to see. And if you invest a little bit of time, and it does turn out to be a good gold rush, then it's going to pay off big time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's got a future. It's not. It's not Vine, right? Vine was crap, but I don't know. It's an interesting platform. What do you
So
guys
it's
think?
basically real-time live video, right? I mean,
Yeah, and it only
And it
stays
goes-
around for 24 hours.
and it goes out to your Twitter followers.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can share the link on Facebook and stuff if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a presentation on it at Podcast Movement. That was one of the 4 I went to.
Oh,
And,
okay.
You know, the guy who founded the company and created it was showing it off. And I think it is a kind of a unique medium for communicating with people and getting people to engage with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be this huge thing forever and ever, but right now at least it's kind of it's still got some novelty, and so my Twitter following can then go, oh, I can go see Chuck right now, and he's gonna talk to me,
Right.
which is kind of fun, and I think overall it's also a great way to get kind of some immediate live feedback. So what I'm planning on doing with it, I haven't actually done one yet. I've just been busy, but it's part of my marketing plan for Angular Remote Conf, which I guess we can talk about in a minute if you want. But I'm planning on getting on today and just basically saying, hey, look, if you do Angular, what are the struggles you're having? What kinds of topics can we cover at the conference? Et cetera, et cetera. So it raises awareness for the conference, but it also gives me critical feedback on what people are really interested in with Angular, so that if I decide to build some products or do some webinars or some of the other things that I'm looking at doing, that I can make sure that it's targeted toward what people are caring about. And I don't know if I can get that kind of feedback just off of a survey or please click this link or whatever. But if people are on live, then they can reply.
But how do you get feedback? Is there a feedback mechanism built into it?
Yeah, so there are 2 feedback mechanisms built into it. One is hearts. So if you're on a mobile device, if you're watching on the web, you can't send hearts. If you are, if you're on your phone, then you tap the screen and it sends hearts up. And on the interface, it's kind of a visual thing, but on the interface in the lower right-hand corner where you're watching your own video, basically, you'll see a whole bunch of hearts stream up. And then on the other side is people actually writing messages to you.
Okay.
And so I can say, what are you struggling with Angular? Or what's the hardest part of Angular? Or are you doing single-page apps? And so if I say, are you doing lots of single-page apps? Tap for hearts, then I can just see if there's a lot or a little.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's, what's the hardest part, then people can actually type that in on their phone.
Is it only mobile? Is there a desktop version?
You can
There
Like
is
a-
no desktop version.
You can view it in desktop, but
Okay.
Yeah.
But, no broadcast.
In the browser, you can view it. So
Dang. Because that would be it'd be nice if there was a desktop version, because I could use that to broadcast some live Watch Me Code.
Yeah.
I suppose I could do on Google Plus anyways.
I don't think it does screencasting yet.
Yeah. And
That could be
it
really
kind of seems
interesting,
like it won't. It's more focused on the. I mean, if they were smart about it, they wouldn't. They would continue focus on the mobile side of things.
it's nothing new,
Right.
Like you could do
No.
this before, but it's got Twitter's name attached to it,
Right.
and it's, I guess, if anything, it's quick. Like you can easily jump on. Whereas, I mean, because really, you could do this with Google Plus, like you said, right? Like you
Right.
could have
Right.
done this. So it's
So
it's weird. The interface is like not that I would know about this, but as you're describing it, Chuck, I'm like, it's like I'm trying to think, how can I describe this interface? Well, it's sort of like a live live sex show, where like all these people typing into
hold on
the
a sec.
channel, and then there's like tips or money going. It's like ching ching ching, like it's like that. Those are the hearts. It's sort of it's eerily reminiscent of something of that sort of a thing, but it's not that. But that's just to get the visual in your head. Like there's a bunch of people that are listening.
Oh,
to
there's visuals
I
associated with
get
it.
it. Yes,
Right.
I see
Yeah.
it. And then they're like, oh, and now I know how I'm going to make money off of it. And then, but you know, did you ask the guy that this is a question I would have for the guy that created the Periscope is what? Okay, in the world of video, right? It's always like horizontal video. Turn your phone sideways, right?
Right.
I will
What?
shoot you.
Why? Why the vertical video? I don't understand this. This app is vertical video. You can't do it the other way. When I did it yesterday,
Really?
I was like, I turned
Yeah.
my phone sideways, right? And for me, my phone showed it. It reoriented, right? It didn't show me
Mhm.
sideways. But then
Yeah.
everyone else was like, "You're sideways." So I was like, "Really? I have to shoot vertical video?"
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
the only
ridiculous.
thing I can guess is that they're doing that so that you can't easily put this on YouTube
Mm.
without pissing people off. But I
Well,
figured out how to do that.
I think I actually think that what they're doing, I think it's just from what I was reading, it sounds like they kind of rushed this out the door, and they're probably going to add that later, is what I saw.
Horizontal video.
Yeah.
But why
Yeah.
vertical is the default? You go.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
get
I
it.
don't know.
Is it because it's a periscope? Is that like
Well,
sticking?
Periscopes are like this, right?
Yeah.
So that would be vertical.
Yeah, but
Or
you
horizontal,
look through
rather.
there, but then there's like a tube that comes out
Yeah.
vertically. So they're, I don't know. that part is just strange.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But there's
Yeah.
a big opportunity here, right? I mean, if you get a
Yeah,
big
totally.
following on it, and like when I did it yesterday,
Well,
I was at
okay.
the right timing. I had 150 live people,
Yeah.
which was that's
I understand that that's pretty good. So
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I've been trying to think how I would actually use it,
Yeah, I'm trying to think
Um,
through that too.
well.
and I don't know. I mean, I guess I could just jump on there and like randomly rant about clients. That could be kind of entertaining, or things that that I'm questions that are coming up as I'm working on
Well,
something. But
You could do something like rant about that god awful Amazon thing that you rewrote.
oh my goodness, yeah. But I
I
can't
mean-
show it though. That's the thing. Like,
No,
I
but you
can't
could
really
you could
show
talk
it.
about
You could
it.
read it.
You could
Yeah.
hold the camera.
here are
use
the
maybe
worst parts.
bullet points and
Yeah.
not identifying it, but just talking about how bad it is and why.
Right.
It's more of doing what you're already doing. I think unless you're specifically targeting this medium, right?
Yeah.
Which would be, but it's interactive. So like I'm going to do some YouTube videos, but I'm going to record them on Periscope, and then I'm going to basically talk about a subject I would talk about or read an email, and then open it up and kind of like respond to people live with questions as they're commenting.
Yeah, I guess
So,
the responding to the questions live is
I'm
kind
gonna
of intriguing.
I'm going to try and fit it right into my workflow with just additional videos, where I'm going to open up a web browser and then screen record the web browser version of it so I can get the full screen, and then turn that into YouTube videos.
Yeah, there are other systems out there like I think it's catchwithak.io that will actually pick
Record
up
your
and,
Periscope.
and yeah, it'll keep your Periscope for you. And I think you
Ah.
can download it and post it to YouTube and things like that. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the whole like vaporizing in 24 hours thing bugs me a lot.
I think for me it really depends. Like if I'm talking to people and I'm like, hey, so what's up with your experience with Angular, which is what I'm going to do, and what talks would be beneficial, or what topics, or what people on what topics would be beneficial for the conference. There's not a whole lot of value to keeping that around.
Yeah.
The other thing is some people go out, and so I'm actually following Ryan Bell, who's the guy who gave this presentation, and I get notifications like 3 or 4 times a day that he's on Periscope doing a video, and so it's like, hey, I'm out at this interesting place and check it out, and he waves his phone around, and how's everybody doing, and he's just hanging out with people.
Yeah.
And and so why would you want to keep those if it's like high quality content or whatever, and you're like, oh, I need to keep this so I can repurpose it or whatever, then yeah, that's a different story.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I could do something along the lines of what you're doing, what you're talking about, Chuck, with me trying to refocus Watch Me Code and my blog and everything. It might be a good way for me to get some real feedback on the kind of information that people are looking for JavaScript architecture and stuff like that.
Yeah, Derek, for you to talk to your audience,
right?
That would be super valuable.
Yeah, one other thing you could do too is if somebody gives you an idea that actually turns into a video you produce for Watch Me Code,
right?
You can say, hey, look, I'm going to give you a free month because it was an awesome idea or something.
Right.
And so you bring them in, they get what they wanted.
Yeah.
You probably create a super fan in the process, and then they go out and tell everybody, I gave Derek Bailey this awesome idea, and he made an awesome video about it, and blah, 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 blah. And then I got a free access for a month to Watch Me Code because he wanted me to see it, and you should really check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have a blog post coming out on Thursday. It's scheduled for the Thursday the 20th, I think. It's a question that somebody on Twitter asked me about promises a couple weeks ago. And I'd been debating for a number of weeks whether I wanted to record it as a video or write it as a blog post. And finally decided to do a blog post because I could get more appropriate detail in the blog post than a video. But I might end up recording a video anyways. But I like that idea of tossing out a free month when people have good questions that I turn into videos and stuff.
And I think you can grow your audience with it too, because right now with the platform, people open up the thing and they're like, oh, what can I watch, right? And they're going to find you. I think it's mostly going to be like teenage girls that are going to find you, but they're going to be like, oh, JavaScript, awesome. Like, I should totally
Depending on what you want out of life.
Like, I'm not going to the movies or the mall today. I am going to JavaScript land.
That's right.
So I don't know, but
wait, I got to go register JavaScriptLand.tv or something.
So I think there'll be a discovery, a certain just because there's so few people broadcasting right now. I mean, of course, I think this week the number probably 100 times because apparently now it's blowing up because we've all heard of it now.
I am literally going to broadcast Watch Me Code. I'm gonna turn it on with my phone pointing at me, and you're gonna watch me code. You're not gonna play code. You're gonna watch me, and I'm just sitting here.
Yeah. Have you guys seen
just don't
that?
pick your nose.
Have you
Every
seen
now and
that,
then I'll swear
that,
really badly.
There's that Rage comic about what programming is really like, and there's the there's the 3 panels. Is the guy goes into starts pounding out code, and then Facebook happens, and then there's he's a rock star, and there's how it actually works, and then he's staring at the screen for 6 panels, and then he puts in a curly brace, and it doesn't, and he gets some kind of SIGA error or something, and he's swearing. It's hilarious. I should try to track that down. I love that comic.
Totally.
Yeah. Here's one thing though. I'll say just for everyone, the benefit of everyone listening to the podcast, right? Because I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, it deletes in 24 hours, so that would be a good place to do political rants and kind of stuff you wouldn't post somewhere else. Except that people can record screens, so we're going to see a big blowback because people are going to forget that because that always happens whenever you have. So don't do that.
But the other thing is that I really like about it is that because it disappears in 24 hours and people will it tells you that when it posts to your Twitter account.
Yeah,
it's going to be gone at this time. It does create that urgency, right? So it drives people to go and watch your video now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it evolves. I think I'm just going to use it from time to time. Maybe on my trip too. That's a good use for it, is just to do hangouts and stuff, and just quick 5-minute video or whatever, and then you don't have to worry too much about it. It's very quick to do and not high production, and it's not expected to be high production. So
yeah, and you can do like the crazy stuff you see in Europe, because so you walk in the bathroom and you show the little dish with the 2 spots for your feet, right? And it's like, yeah, I can use this. My 4-year-old's coming in a minute, right?
Yeah, people love it. By the way, when you take your phone into the bathroom and then you just start recording stuff in there. It makes you the popular guy. They're let me smile let me show you something. You want to see something? You guys want to see something on this camera?
Look at the toothbrush.
I guess my example was poor, but the idea is oh, whoa, that was different, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. Especially if you go into the women's restroom and you're like. See how long
I'm sorry I said anything. Jeez.
Jeez. Yeah, but then it's John.
Chuck's just wishing he could take back his last 15 minutes now.
I know, right? This isn't going to be gone in 24 hours.
I'm going to make a channel. I'm going to make it handled inappropriate periscopes. Just
there are probably a lot of those already.
I'm going to go into a random dentist office, open the door, go back while someone's getting their tooth drilled, and be like, "Look, this guy's getting his tooth drilled. Isn't that cool? Who the hell are you?" Show up at random places. I shouldn't be.
Oh gosh.
You'll be bigger than PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Periscope crasher.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know though. I don't know if it's gonna it takes I don't know. Can video take off? And people people watch video and I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm probably not going to mess around with this right now because I don't see it's like a major for one thing, it's a major interruption in my day, right? To just drop everything.
My whole day.
I think this is going to get very I think this is going to get very congested very quickly too. If Chuck's already getting 4 and 5 notifications from people.
Oh, they're all from the same guy.
Yeah, I know. But imagine if you had 20 people doing that.
Yeah.
You'd be getting pinged constantly, and you're going to tune it out really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And Twitter's going to get saturated with the notifications too.
There is one thing about this, though, right? Twitter, right? A lot of people will post a Facebook status, post a picture on Facebook. On Twitter, they'll send a tweet or a link or whatever, their opinion, right? But there's a lot fewer people that are going to turn their phone to their face and record video and talk into it.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, it's much higher impedance.
Yeah, but people are super narcissistic,
but most people are too afraid to actually post their face. They want the anonymity of Twitter and Facebook, which there is no anonymity there, but they have this sense that they can post whatever they want and just be done with it and go on.
Well, yeah, but that's assuming that they're actually. Well, for one thing, that's assuming that they're pointing it at their face. I mean, John's inappropriate periscopes is an example. I mean, I could see people when we were at the zoo recently. I could totally see people walking around, tripping over, falling into the tiger pen.
Which they already do, just texting
I know. But I mean,
their photos.
Yeah, they're texting or they're taking videos. It's not really any different than just taking a photo or a video with your phone. So I just think it's going to get congested really, really fast and be.
So we got to get in on it now.
Well, yeah, or you invest a bunch of time in it and then it gets congested and I don't know.
It's good that it gets congested.
I'm a skeptic.
If you have the bigger if you're one of the top ones, one of the winners in that space, because then you'll gain a lot more traction. Just think about it. If you go back in time when Twitter first launched, right, and you could just be tweeting 20 tweets a day, you would be awesome because everyone would be following you. You'd have 1 million followers, and then you'd be able to you could build an entire business just if you knew that Twitter was going to be as big as it was, right? Think about the actions you would take. Now, this could turn out to be nothing, but there's a potential opportunity here just because of it is a gold rush. So it could be Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or it could be Magic the Gathering. I don't know which one.
See, but with your Twitter example, though, I'm not sure I agree with that because, I mean, you look at the people who have those huge followings, and it's Justin Bieber and Barack Obama. You know, it's people that you would think, oh yeah, they're going to have a huge Twitter following as soon as they open their Twitter account. So you would have been, even if you had started early, like as a copywriter, if I'd started when Twitter first started, I don't think I'd have more followers than Justin Bieber.
Well, Justin, not the beat.
I'd have more than I have. I'd have more than I have now, but
you wouldn't have believers, but
No.
but you would have if you're the only copywriting guy on Twitter, and you look a little bit feminine, then you might have a lot of followers.
Right.
Yeah, but the other thing is that Periscope has its own sort of networking thing, so you can actually look for look for Periscopes in a certain area or from people that you're sort of connected to, and you can also follow people on Periscope and not on Twitter, and you can also find all the people that you are following on Twitter on Periscope. So, I mean, there are a lot of different things that you can do there. So, yeah, most people that I know that are using it, they wind up getting a good chunk from their Twitter following, but they also get a good chunk from people who are just browsing Periscope.
Yeah, it's so hard to predict with these things. I mean, look at Pinterest, right? When Pinterest first came out, I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, that is a dumb idea.
Pinning photos, and then when the demographic for it, I was like, what? Like, this is a social network geared towards women who want to post photos? It's like, what? And now it's like, gosh, I really wish I would have gotten in on the Pinterest thing. I could be making, I mean, there's just, no one had any idea that Pinterest was going to be that. Now there's all these guys trying to
I will very, very, very vehemently disagree with no one had any idea. Clearly someone did.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
They put a site for that demographic, and it worked.
Yeah, it worked pretty well.
Right.
The other thing is that,
John, you need to start your mom's code site so that
there we go.
you can break into the Pinterest market.
Well, I use Pinterest, but
I
use it for like stuff I wish I could do to my garage, or
Right.
For things I wish I could do to my office, or stuff like that. So.
Yeah, or even things like Snapchat, right? Like no one would have guessed that would be. But I don't know how much you can really advertise and grow a business on Snapchat. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk seems to think you can, but I don't know about that. But
well, it just comes down to where your people are.
Yeah.
And a lot of his people are on Snapchat. So
that's true. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's another thing now that you have to do in order to.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my resistance to it, I guess, is like you can only do so many of these things well.
There are multiple times throughout any given day where I'm heavy into code, and I see something that frustrates me or confuses me or whatever, and I want to talk about it. And so I might actually use it for those moments. Might pull it up and describe the situation, and even flip the camera around to show the code. And I mean, I think that could potentially.
Can you look at this? Can you believe this?
What idiot! Oh wait, that was me. But yeah, so there's potential for it to, like John was saying, to grow some fans out of Watch Me Code. With that, it could be an interesting experiment. I'm sure I will act like a complete idiot and do stupid things the first 100 times I try to use the thing, but that's what I do.
Yeah. See, we don't know what the norm is right now. Like when Twitter first came out, no one like retweet RT was it wasn't in the software, right? It was something that someone came up with, and then that became a convention. Oh yeah, or hashtags, or even just the way it's used today.
Direct messages and app mentions, and I mean all this stuff was. It all came out of people using the system and creating norms, and eventually the software added the norm.
So we'll see if you can kind of be the predictor of those patterns, then you could do really well. Even Instagram, right? I mean, Instagram with their crazy hashtag like spam, like people are making serious businesses out of Instagram. But yeah. But this is backed by Twitter, so
Yep.
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is it raises your profile. So.
Yeah. I'm currently looking at the Periscope app on my phone.
It's actually
Derek,
pretty nice.
if you do show code like that, be sure that you turn your phone sideways so that the code will go
Code goes sideways.
yeah, that way.
Totally.
Wait, what? What did he?
Yo, okay, here's my Periscope. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start playing Night of the Rocks, you know, and then I'm gonna take the phone and I'm actually gonna turn it sideways, so that people go like this and then turn it the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. So another one I started using is unfollowers.com.
Oh yeah, okay. How's that working?
Well, it's the same kind of thing that you guys have talked about before, where you follow a bunch of people and then unfollow them later, or unfollow the ones that aren't following you later. And yeah, I did it last night at about like almost midnight, and this morning when I got up, I had 44 new followers.
Nice.
400?
44, just 44 new followers.
Oh, I thought you said 4,400. I was like, okay.
I haven't looked at this before. I'm looking at it now. It's not loading. Is it unfollowers.com?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not loading for me.
Yeah, it's been running kind of slow this morning, but anyway, I thought that
You're
was
maxing
interesting.
it out, Chuck.
Yeah. No, I already hit my limit. Twitter will only let me follow 1,000 people in a day, so.
Oh, okay.
Somehow the one thing gets around it, though. I don't know how it does.
Well, it could be just your account too, John.
Yeah, you may have more followers than I do, because I think that's kind of what it's based on.
Yeah, he has a lot of followers.
So
Schedule your
let you
tweets.
follow more people, you think, when you have more followers?
Yeah,
I
that's.
think
I mean, it's so my understanding is that there's some kind of secret ratio, and the more followers you have, the more people you can follow and unfollow. What are you?
I'm periscoping us
You're-
talking.
oh my God.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Well, I was thinking about doing that, Derek. Except there's one flaw in your plan.
Nobody
I
can
can
hear
see.
you. They can
Yeah.
only hear me.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They can hear you laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can hear me laughing, but they have no idea what's going on your side of the conversation.
It's like the old Bob Newhart did like whole comedy routines on one-sided phone conversations like that.
Hey, I've got people on. This is pretty
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
Hold
Wow.
on, I'm going to turn the sound on so people can actually hear what
Oh
what's
gosh,
going
we're
on
probably
here.
going to have some kind of horrible feedback loop.
they're probably. Where's my sound?
I'm getting ready to take my headset off if need be.
Yes. Okay.
We should
Where's
just blast it in all the channels and be like,
display
we need
audio.
someone live blogging the Entreprogrammers podcast.
Yeah.
We'll have it on the on Periscope. It'll be Google Plus Live, Twitch TV.
Oh my gosh.
You can
I
catch
think
us,
having Eric.
Justin TV.
I think having Eric live blog this would be hysterical.
All right, so yeah, I've got the display audio going, so people can maybe hear it. Hey, people, if you're watching this on Periscope, heart me so I know if you can hear the people on the other end of this conversation.
Well, we have to say something first, or they won't be able to hear anything. So.
I'm getting
Wow.
hearts.
Oh my gosh, this is. We heart you guys too.
He's
Heart
like,
you.
We need to send hearts back.
Derek's like the
Totally.
boy Red Wolf. When he does a real Periscope, they'll be like, is this one of those things again? Or...
Yeah, Derek's reputation is now shot.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
My reputation was crap to begin with, so whatever. All right, well, that was a fun experiment. I'm out.
All right.
All right. So what else is new in the world?
My furnace started smoking yesterday.
We'll get it to quit before it's addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have now we have the the furnace guy came out today, and so the temperature dropped below like 50 degrees the other night, and so our Nest thermostat decided to turn the heat on, and and smoke started coming out of the vents. So now the guy came and he hot-wired basically the control board that turns the thing off and on is shot, so he hot-wired it. So now the fan is just running 24/7.
That sounds kind of what happened with my air conditioner a couple of months ago. The air conditioner blew, and there was a major switch outside to turn power off and on to the AC, and this is outside right next to the AC. And we turned it off so we could repair it, got it repaired, and we couldn't turn it back on because the switch broke when we turned it off.
Oh no.
So we shut down power to the entire house, hardwired the power to the AC, bypassing the switch, and turned it back on until he could come back out a few days later to actually repair it.
I'm not going to let you guys fix stuff at my house, just so you know.
No.
Well, this was an official repairman that did mine, so
Yeah, same with mine.
yeah, he's gonna come.
Did he have a title? Did he have a little name tag that said official repairman? Is that how you knew?
He did, yes, in fact. Nice. No, I'm working on. I'm trying to today. I'm spending some time trying to figure out what the heck to do with my explainer video client. So I mentioned in the email that basically, so using turning on the welcome mat like I did, was working while we were getting email signups from the welcome mat. But the downside was that people were no longer filling out the contact form, which is like his actual business. So yeah, because so I dug into the analytics more this week, and most of the signups that he gets for that are from his homepage, his about page, and one other page, his pricing page. So like basically 3/4 of his signups come from those 3 pages, and also like most of the signups we got on the welcome mat also came from those pages. So it was siphoning off people who would have probably contacted him anyway. So we turned that off, and basically we're only going to show that on the blog pages. And his blog, like poor guy's got like 100 blog posts up there, and he only gets like around 500 or 600 page views a month on those. So I'm trying to get him to do some more guest blogging to start to drive traffic back, because actually one of his best traffic sources is Quora.
Really? Yeah.
Of all things. Yep.
I believe that.
Because there's people on there that have posted specific questions about explainer videos, and he posted a long answer that was good and linked to his site, and he gets like maybe probably like maybe 10 to 20% of his leads every month just from those posts.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm going to try to get him to do some more posts around the web, just get guest posts and stuff. But it's tough because his English is not his first language.
Right.
So his content is not as strong. So he's almost going to need to hire somebody to write content for him, to do guest posting, if he wants to really make it work well.
Yeah.
But I think I can get him, like, I think the welcome mats will probably only be able to get him, like, I don't know, 30, 40 email signups a month at best. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at, he's getting more people filling out his, like, request a quote, like actual leads. He's getting more actual leads than email signups. So I think we're going to focus on what to do with those leads and try to get, I was thinking I could get him on create a recovery sequence where if people contact him and then don't actually follow up, that we could try to jumpstart those folks, get them back.
I gotta wonder how much value there would be in a large mailing list for him, though, because it seems to me that people that are looking to get an explainer video done probably wouldn't be interested in long-term content related to that. They would want to get the project done and move on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually that's one of many reasons why I went to AdWords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
one shot.
I mean, it's funny, it's frustrating because like looking back at this project, it's hard to see where I think the thing I should have done better is vetting it early on. But
Yeah.
I mean, early on, it looked like he was getting 11 or 12,000 page views a month on his
Yeah.
homepage. You know, like we were really excited about that. I was like, good grief, I think I can double this guy's business because he's
Right.
got, you know, he's getting nothing for all this traffic. And then like it's like been a million paper cuts. Like, oh, okay, well that won't work and that won't work. I feel like Thomas Edison with the light bulb, where he's got like a list of
10,000
things that won't work.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just like everything we try, we're like, oh, okay, well I can see now that's not going to work at all. You know, AdWords is too expensive for him. He's not getting enough. He's just basically not getting enough traffic to do a real email list. So I think what we're gonna end up doing is just focusing on his homepage and rework that and try to improve his conversion rate on that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then maybe go ahead.
How targeted is he?
As far as like who he's attracting.
Yeah, who's going
I
after?
mean, it's mainly startups. So the other
what
thing
kind of startups?
It's kind of all over the map, but a lot of it's just. I mean, he doesn't target a specific group of people.
Have you tried that?
He basically takes anything that comes in. We haven't. No, not yet. I've been thinking about getting him on trying to get him on like, get him advertising on somebody else's mailing list.
Mm-hmm.
Get him in front of some bigger audiences like that.
Yeah, I think if he could find, say, an industry where this would really pay off,
Mm-hmm.
and then just get a couple of explainer videos or sample videos out there that knock it out of the park, that really hit home for that kind of person,
Right.
then your marketing gets a little easier, because
Right.
what they're seeing is what they want, and
Yeah.
it's extremely specific to what they need.
This business is very difficult for me because it's a commodity business. Like there's a ton of explainer video companies out there. He's competing mostly on price, and he really doesn't have a USP. It's like, what's unique about you? Well, mainly it's the pricing that he's got, and he's got a good track record. He's been doing this for like 7 years. Those are kind of his main areas, and that's not a lot to work with. So, and he's also got like 25 employees. So I'm very hesitant to say, okay, well, you should just change your whole business model. I mean, if I was in his shoes, what I told him what I'd be doing right now is I would be trying to become the boutique offshore video explainer company, because he's got he's got a really good track record. He's got some great contacts in some big companies and stuff. And I think I would try to be doing and some of his competitors in the U.S., they charge like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Well, he could do a killer video for $5,000, make a lot more than he's making now, and do a lot less work for it. But right now he's like very much in this production, like he's churning out these videos, and so he's not like spending as much time on the videos to where they're like the super high quality that some of the really high end studios would be doing. So I don't know. It's tough for me. I would totally.
Well,
I
he
think
doesn't have to. If he focuses down, he doesn't necessarily have to change his business model.
No.
Focus in marketing.
I've talked to him about he really would like to get more corporate clients, because they'll come in and they don't care about price, and they're easier to work with. And so I've talked to him about, well, if I was in his shoes, I would be doing like individual outreach for that. Like that's more of a sales, that's more of a thing where you can target people and go after them with more of an actual sales funnel, like targeted individual outreach versus you're not going to get, I don't think you're going to get very many corporate VPs Googling around for, how long should my explainer video be, and pulling them in via content marketing.
You don't think so? I mean,
No, because they're going to be looking for somebody to do that for you at the
Yeah.
corporate level.
But
So
they need
what-
to evaluate that person, so they need to know what the criteria. So they are going to try to.
They're going to
educate
delegate that to
themselves.
somebody else who will find out
Yeah.
that information. Though.
But the other thing is that all that information can be on the how we work, and so then it can say, our experience tells us that we, by doing a video of this kind, of this length, of this, flavor, blah blah blah, we find that we get the best results for our style of explainer video. So what the content marketing is if you put something together about, how to build your audience with video, and then, spent a bit of time on, case studies on how this kind of thing has helped people, or talking
Right.
about some of the techniques or some of the things that businesses have provided him that, allowed him to knock it out of the park for him. They gave me this kind of information, and because of that, the explainer video, kind of took this turn, and that's what made it go viral or work out or take
Yeah.
off or
I mean,
look good
he's
on their website.
tried to do that he's got a lot of case studies and stuff on the site, and he's done enough blog posts where he ought to be able to get some traction out of it, but I think the search volume is just so low on that stuff.
Mhm.
And you're competing against sites like
Explainify.
well, I mean, there's some really just mammoth, like Social Media Explorer or
Mhm.
SEO Moz. I mean, those guys are like behemoths, and you're never gonna outrank them for anything.
Oh,
Maybe super long tail keywords, but it's
Yeah.
really tough to grow a business off of 3 searches a year.
Well, that's where you need the guest posts. But as I just started looking around to see if I could find his site, just based on looking for your welcome mat and Googling, and I didn't find it, but it gave me an idea. I think maybe the answer, because you said this is a commodity to some degree, and it is, right? There's a lot of competitors. So just start looking for the top, who's ranking the top for explainer videos, and see what they're doing. I noticed a couple of giveaways for a book, like a couple of lead magnets. There's a few sites like that. So I would look at 2 categories of people. I'd look at the top people that are ranking in Google search, because those are the biggest explainer. They're the ones that are winning the most dollars. And then I would look for the top ones that are paid search when you look for explainer video, and see what they're doing, because those guys are really making money if they're able to actually afford the ad.
Okay. I mean, I've spent a lot of time studying the people that are paying, and they're doing a really, really crappy job, but they're all in the U.S. and they're all charging a lot of money.
Right.
I mean, they're charging $7,000 a video, so they've got a lot of buffer in there.
To be able
So does he need to raise his prices?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think he does.
Okay.
But again, we're doing surgery on a live patient here.
Here's what I would do then to figure this out. Do a test site. Just throw up a WordPress site. Make it with a U.S. address, right? New company name, whatever. Just throw it up there. Have them. I'm sure this is a worthwhile experiment. Do the AdWords, and see with a higher price. And then if you get customers through there, then you just send them through the regular channel, and you charge them that price. Then you don't have to mess with changing the price of the existing company. And then it's like I've made we're not afraid to do open heart surgery on you because we have a clone. If your clone dies, it's okay. You won't even feel
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. That's a really now. So that's actually so John Carlton talks about this, where he's like, if you've got a product that's selling well, then knock yourself off, because if you don't, someone else will. So if you've got the $300 product, make the $47 product the Walmart version and sell that also, and then you've got all that market share. This is going the other way. And going to the expensive end, but I actually really like this idea.
One other thing that you could do, and this is something that I've been playing with at the behest of my other mastermind group, they turned me on to a tool called Autopilot for LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is actually a place where he may be able to go and find...
Yeah, I talked to him about that.
Echoes and
Yeah.
VP and stuff.
Yeah.
And there are some things that you can do to raise your profile on there, and then also just go jump into the marketing groups and the executives groups and
Yeah.
see if you can
Well,
post periodically to those and say, hey,
I've looked at that a lot. I think that LinkedIn as a way to identify people and reach out to them is really, really good. But it is the groups. I was really, really disappointed. Any of the marketing related groups, they're like just a dumping ground of people dumping in blog posts and not getting any traction. Like, I've talked to a couple marketing people who do this, and they don't get any real interaction on them, and no one comments. Like, it's just tumbleweeds.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, the LinkedIn groups thing, I was wanting to try that as well, but I wasn't able to find any that looked like they would work for that.
Yeah, you can go in and just see if you can find a couple that, if you could find a couple that even look like they're worth trying, then.
Yeah, I really like this high-end knockoff. Well, the funny thing is, so this guy, he's offshore, right? He's in Indonesia, and he gets people doing this to him, where they sell the contract for $7,000, and then they turn around and hire him.
Yeah.
For $1,200 to actually do all the work, and they just keep the money.
So maybe that's his market, is the other explainer video folks in the U.S.
Yeah, I've talked to him about that as well, about going after those folks and trying to get a lot more of those deals lined up, because that would be like money just coming to him. He doesn't have to work for.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of is at the $1,200 price point, what could he do for $7,000, right? So it's like, okay, well, if I'm comparing apples to apples, explainer video for $7,000, explainer video for $7,000, it's like, oh, I get an explainer video and XYZQRS, for $7,000 from this guy, and I only get the explainer video from these other guys.
Mm-hmm. That's some great stuff. You have to think about.
But the other thing is if he's that much cheaper, I'd be tempted to be like, okay, so what's the catch?
Yeah.
For $1,200 versus $7,000, it's like, okay, is this amateur hour over here?
Yeah. So my dad used to teach industrial arts at a college, and he taught various aspects of this related to business as well, including being self-employed as a contractor and whatnot. And at one point in the class, he would have all of his students put together a bid sheet, a proposal for a project to be done, and invariably he would give the students who bid way too low a really bad grade, and the students who bid way too high a really good grade, and the people that were in the middle an average grade. He would almost across the board, unless the person just really screwed up the proposal otherwise. And every time he did this, he would explain to the class the value that you charge, the value that you provide to somebody is more than just the actual labor. If you're coming into this and being the lowball bidder, you're going to get clients that want to penny pinch and want to haggle and want to be, frankly, rude and obnoxious clients about every last little expense. But if you're on the high end, you get people coming in saying, oh, well, I have this high expectation, and what I'm going to get is going to be great, and you're clearly the professional, so I'm going to let you do it because you're worth the money. And then the people in the middle are just kind of lost in nowhere land. Nobody pays attention to them at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's funny that this actually played out yesterday. We were at the grocery store, right? And we were buying. We were gonna buy like a snack for the evening, and so I was buying a candy bar, and I'm like looking at the things, and I told my wife, I was like, she's like, what are you doing? Like, just pick one, and I was like, someone could really sucker me if they want to, because the way that I pick a candy bar, especially when I'm in a foreign country and I don't speak the language, is I look for the most expensive one, and that's what I buy.
Totally.
That's what I assume is the best. Like, I don't want, like, if you really want to sucker me, make like a $7 candy bar where the other ones are $2, and I'm just going to buy that thing and just assume it's going to be the best one.
Right.
It's actually it's an interesting it's a psychological cue. It's called a heuristic that we
Right.
use because we don't actually think about everything all the way through logically. Otherwise, it would take too much time. So
Yeah.
actually, in Robert Cialdini's book Influence, that he talks about this this idea. He talks about all the different things that influence us, but there's a bunch of these shortcut heuristics, and one of them is price. So we look at and we say. In fact, he tells a story in there. This is an interesting story. So there's this lady. I can't remember the exact story. I'm just going to butcher it. But anyway, so she's got this like Indian store where she's selling these like
yeah, I know what you're
jades,
talking about.
right?
Yeah,
This jade
she was
stuff.
like in Arizona or something, and she
Yeah.
had like a native artifact store type of thing.
Exactly right. So she's got this jade stuff and it's not moving, right? So she discounts it, puts it in the front window. No one touches it, doesn't move it. So she goes on vacation. She's like, I got to get this stuff out of here. I got new inventory coming in. So she tells the girl that's working the counter, she leaves a note for her that says to mark everything 50% off, right? All the jade stuff that she's trying to get rid of, and so the girl misinterprets it. And she thinks that she meant to make it 50% higher or twice as high. So the girl doubles the price instead of cutting it in half, and then the stuff sells out. And so the reasoning is because as a discount, when it showed a discount, people assumed that the value was less, and no one knows how to value jade or whatever it was, right? So they're like, well, if it's really expensive, this must be the best thing. They're tourists; they want to buy something. I think you're right. It happened in Arizona, some tourist area there, and they're like, they want to buy something of quality, so they immediately gravitate towards the thing that has the highest price.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and this guy is actually kind of in the middle, which so there's like bottom feeders who are these guys in India that are like churning out videos for like $300 or $400, and then there's like the high-end people in the U.S. that are charging $5,000 to $10,000.
Yeah, and being that middle ground that's no man's land. I mean, you got to do something to get out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting just to evaluate. I mean, I'd put up the dummy site and try it out. I mean, even and there's instance Toyota does this with Lexus. Lexus is just a Toyota that is just that you're just paying more for. That's all that is, really. I mean, basically, right? So, you try it out, and then an interesting experiment is like, let's say that he's getting 100 customers a month. Or probably not that many, but let's say he's getting 100 customers a month that are paying him like $3,000 or no, $1,500, whatever it is. Maybe he gets 30 customers a month that pay him $7,000, but they don't complain. They're they're happy to pay that amount of money. They pay their invoice on time. They're not penny pinching like the $1,500 customers, and he needs less staff, to do 30 videos, makes more money, right?
Right.
So. And then you can do Google AdWords at that point. So.
Yeah.
I love how we're analyzing Josh's client's business instead of our own businesses.
Right.
I have so much advice for other people, yet my own business struggles and fails.
Well, there's a lot to learn from it, though, because like sometimes you're too close to your own stuff. Yeah. And then like especially a hard problem like this where you're just banging your head against the wall. Because I don't think none of us have really been in that space, but like this, quite like this. So I think some things will carry over. That sometimes when you look at something like that, it's going to show up in your own space somehow. So.
Well, it definitely reinforces just how hard it is to be, like when you don't have a niche and you don't have a USP, like it's just really tough. It's really hard for me to even know what to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm officially, speaking of USPs, I'm officially in that coaching, the Perry's coaching program. So
nice.
High five.
Yeah. Well, I'm terrified. It'll be interesting.
Why?
Why? Well, yeah, it'll be very challenging, but hopefully I think I'm going to have about 6 students, and I have to do I have to do 2 calls, like with each group of 3 students. So basically, that's the part that makes me nervous actually is the performance art part of this. Like, I'm having done all the podcasting and everything, I'm more comfortable doing this than probably a lot of copywriters would be, but I'm a little worried that I'm going to have to come up with like brilliant stuff on the fly while I'm talking to people, and just not be able to pull it off, because that's pretty tough for me. Like when I'm in the spotlight, I don't perform well when I'm in the spotlight and the pressure's on and things are live. It's not a strong suit for me, so that part makes me nervous. I think, but I'm going to make them turn in their homework early, like a few days early, so I have time to go over it, and hopefully I won't be doing too much of it live on the spot. But yeah, basically it's basically a course for people who are kind of in the situation that my client's in, where they have a business and they don't really know what's unique or special about them, and it's really hard when you're in that position. It's really hard to write ads. It's really hard to attract clients because you just don't even know. You don't even really have a good sense of who you are or what you're offering. And it's actually going to be good for me because I haven't gone through all this yet with my copywriting business, and I need to do that to help me nail down my messaging and stuff. So I'll be doing it alongside the students, and then hopefully be able to give them some good insights. But yeah, I mean, Perry's got like he made like guarantees, like, you know, if you don't have, you know, he has like, he listed 10 things, and it's like, you know, improve your click-through rates by 20%, or, you know, improve your conversion rate by 10%. Like, and he's like, you're going to get 5 out of these 10 things as a result of going through this course. Yeah. So that means that I'm on the, basically I mean, they are too. They have to do the work, but I'm kind of on the hook to deliver something valuable enough that it, you know, it helps meet that promise that he's made. So. Mm-hmm.
Don't worry.
It'll either be a horrific disaster or it'll be good. And they're encouraging, like, we're not allowed to pressure people to work with us as copywriters, but they're encouraging us, like, or encouraging people, like, if you like the guy you're working with, you know, you can hire them afterwards to implement all this stuff for you. So
sounds like an escort service to me.
Oh my gosh, John is just.
Where is John's brave this week? You're crawling straight out of a sewer or something.
Wow.
You've been eating a few too many brownies over there in Amsterdam.
I get that.
So yeah, but I'm excited. That program, like, it's funny. We're getting paid $100 a student basically, so it's not like a lot. It's not going to be a lot of money, but it'll be good. It'll be really good exposure to 6 potential clients, and I also got basically $2,000 worth of classes and course material that I was actually considering paying for this course myself when I first saw it coming out. It's a $1,000 course, and I was like, this would be really good for me to do right now. And we got 2 other $500 courses that I've also wanted to buy. So basically, I'm making about $2,600 for the whole thing.
Nice.
Think of it this way. I mean, you already kind of said it, but you are, like, probably one of the more gregarious, like, vocal, like, extroverted copywriters that exist, right? Of any level of skill. So you're actually probably in the 1%, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, you were the guy that went to a conference freaking out, thinking that you weren't gonna, you were gonna have a horrible time, and you ended up being the star student in the room, and everybody wanted to talk to you.
So I mean, technically, that even could be your USP. That's how strong it is, right? Like, I mean, you do a weekly podcast that's like 2 hours, long, right? You're out there putting yourself out there constantly. So I think I would maybe, like, reframe your thinking about this and think of this as, like, I mean, yeah, it's going to take some. There's a learning curve, there's a ramp here, but you're the perfect guy to do this. Like, you're, like, if anyone can hold someone's attention for 2 hours, it's probably going to be you, and not some guy that's like, well, yeah, I kind of think, like, you don't have any problem expressing your opinion. Like, you're going to say what you think, whereas someone else is just going to be, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The other guy, the guy I sent you guys the info about, Doberman Dan. He's a podcaster as well, so he'd be a good. I was pretty surprised. I didn't actually even realize he was in Perry's orbit.
yeah,
So I was pretty surprised to see him show up, but it's pretty good company. So
yep, nice. When you get the PM ring.
The secret decoder ring that lets you into all the super secret missions and meetings.
Yeah. I could actually see ending up like, he seems to bring in a lot of people that kind of work with him part-time, sort of like as employees, and but you're not like on a payroll doing 40 hours a week locked down, but it's like you do maybe 10 hours a week or something. You're a regular. I could see doing something like that. I'd be happy with that.
He's a perfect example, though, of why I'm so focused on building a brand and a name. Like, think about it. Like, I mean, I'm not saying, like, obviously he's got skill, but he doesn't need skill. Like, he could basically not know how to copyright at all, and he could attract enough people that are way more talented than he is to be able to write stuff for him, to be able to, just based on the brand. Like, now again, I'm not saying, I've read the guy's books and I've listened to him talk, and obviously he knows his stuff, but I'm just saying, like, the branding that the gravitational force that he has with his branding is so like,
I think what you need, you have to jumpstart it with expertise.
Yeah, of course.
Once you get it going that way, then yeah, like, I mean, you can pull people into your orbit. Like, there's a joke. Dan Kennedy is a copywriter, and people like ask him at his mastermind group. I've heard stories about people asking him for marriage advice. The guy's been divorced 3 times.
Right.
All right.
Practice makes perfect.
Like, yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's just like, because people just sort of are willing to take a lot of advice from you on any number of topics once they have that base level of trust.
Exactly. Yeah, and it doesn't. I mean, the skill level doesn't necessarily matter that much. There's a lot better people that are less well known in every field, right? It's just they'll never be known because skill. What was the book? Where he talked about. I can't remember which book it was. Maybe you guys will remember, though. In the book, he talks about this person who's playing at the Philharmonic, right? And they stand in the subway, and I think I talked about this once on this on Entreprogrammers, but and they're playing violin or whatever with a like a donation, like their violin case open. And they had just played at the Philharmonic the night before, right? So, like, they're the best violinists in the world, like, just, right? People paid, like, $500 a seat to sit and listen, right? And he's just playing in the subway, and no one's putting any money in the thing, and everyone's ignoring him. Not everyone is standing around. Wow. But yet, when in the context of being the greatest violinist in the world, right, people were paying ridiculous amounts of money, like, people were fainting and passing out because of how beautiful the sound was, right? There's actually like a medical condition for this, but anyway, like, I mean, that's just the example. It's like the name precedes it doesn't necessarily matter to some degree what the skill is. Like, someone extremely skilled might not even go noticed at all, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
So then this has just been a fun week for me. I got nice. So yesterday, I turned in my copy for one of my clients, and then like he sends me a message, and it's like, I thought it would be longer. I'm like, what? This is all the feedback you're giving me. I thought it would be longer. And this guy is
paying you by the word, isn't he? What?
I guess he is. Yeah. No, it really. I've figured out how I should have responded. What I did was I responded and I said, well, we're using Voxer, so it's like voice chat back and forth. So I responded and I was like, well, I was modeling it after the pages that you sent me, and it's a software product. And he sent me like several pages that he liked, so I modeled it after that. And one of the pages was about 500 words, and the other page was like 2,000 words. And what I gave him was right around 1,500 words. Like it was like, you know, it's long enough. It was long for the software. You guys know the software landing pages I'm talking about. They're like, you know, I actually hate them. They're the blocked up, the chopped up pages. I hate them because I can't read them. Like, I find them to be completely unreadable, and I go into scanning mode immediately and like just ignore 99% of the page. Like, I just completely tune it out. But this is what he wanted. So I put one together for him, and he's like, I thought it would be longer. and this guy has been like, he's been very hard to reach. He's been like, it took me like 3 weeks for him to even get me access to his software. They're adding a bunch of features to it that aren't there now, so I'm like writing about vaporware. And then I can't talk, he's only got like a handful of customers, and I was only able to talk to one of them, and I reached out to like 5 or 6 other people, and also reached out to probably a half dozen other people that I found myself, just tracked down. And basically I was only able to interview 2 or 3 people for this whole thing.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was just. Yeah.
You should have said you should have seen my first draft. It just had a picture of Justin Bieber and it said "Buy my shit."
I've been trying to find that image that you posted on our group for so long.
I think I made it from a meme generator.
Okay.
I think that's why you can't find
it. You need to make it again or find it for us in our mailing archives, because I really need that image.
Yeah, I can totally see it though. It's like, yeah, I made you this really nice plate of spaghetti, and everybody around is looking at it longingly, and you're saying, well, I thought I'd have more noodles.
Yeah.
Right? You put more noodles in, and then good.
What I decided was, what I should have said, and I probably am going to say this again. I'm going to follow up with them and say this. Like, look, let's get on a call. Tell me what selling arguments you think are missing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because that is what, like, so the long copy versus short copy thing, people argue about it a lot. And actually, the reason that long copy works better is because it lets you tell a complete sales story. Right. And if you shortcut that, it's like the door-to-door salesman doesn't shut up, give himself 30 words and then shut up. Like, he tries to get in your house and he'll talk as long as he can, right, until you like throw him out. And that's what long copy does. But if you keep talking after you've already made your points, you lose the sale. So you don't want to go beyond. You're trying to hit the balance of like making a complete sales argument, but not not just blathering on and on and on. And so I think what I'll say to him is like, look, what's missing? Like what selling points am I missing here? Right. I'd be happy to include those for you, but it's not a word count thing. So
I can totally see your next draft, and it's 1,500 words, and then it says "buy now" underneath it, and then underneath that it's lorem ipsum, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Yeah, just make him feel like. I mean, you're on to the right answer here. It's to make him feel like he contributed to it, and then make his change, even though it might not matter. There's the in How to Win Friends and Influence People. He talked about like Michelangelo. I don't know if this is a true story, but Michelangelo, right? He when the statue he was commissioned to make, like the guy stood under it and he's like, oh, the nose looks too big, and Michelangelo's like grabs some dust from shavings and climbs up on the ladder and says, oh yes, you're right, and then he pretends like he talks to them and, nice. Let some dust drop from his hand, and then he compliments the guy on his his ability to see it, and he says, how's it look now? And he says, oh, much better, perfect, and he didn't change it at all. So
have you heard the story about the programmer the video game programmer and the duck?
I don't think so.
So I think this might have been on the Daily WTF, but there was this guy, this video game programmer, and he was making a chess game, and he had this manager who was just always wanted to come in and change stuff.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay,
so he's making this 3D chess game. So what he does is he takes the queen and he puts a duck like just an actual duck, like a white, quack quack duck, next to the queen. Made it very carefully so that the duck never overlaid the queen. So like none of the graphics, none of the bitmaps needed to be changed or anything. He just put this duck that would follow the queen around when she moved on the board.
Ah.
And the manager was like, came in and was like, oh, this is fantastic. What's with the duck? Like, you got to get rid of that duck. So he's like, okay. Just, deletes a couple lines of code, and and that was the change. So he got off without having to rewrite his program.
Nice.
I need to start putting those in the copy.
Yeah, just some random like.
The Justin Bieber graphic would be a good thing.
There we go. Like, why'd you put that? Oh yeah, okay, well it's better
You
now.
should put Justin Bieber being followed around by a duck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I am really off today.
So yeah, that's pretty much been my week though. It's just been weird, like, I'm still trying to line up some clients, and I have some good leads, but I haven't been able to nail anything down for a while. So I'm starting to step that up. And then I've had this, this couple weird, just the explainer video site weirdness continuing, and then I was pretty down yesterday, but I bounced back.
Yay for bouncing back.
Yeah, it seems like actually Thursday for me is actually a day that I tend to hit bottom out. It's happened a couple times.
Well, if you need to just talk through things and have someone listen, just let one of us know.
Just hop on Periscope.
That's what I said.
There you go. I'm just explainer video. Ah!
This is fair. I use my Periscope channel to cry in front of people.
Oh, there you go. I love it.
It's just a bunch of videos of me crying.
Copywriter tears at copywriter tears.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. So that's enough about me. What about you guys?
Go. Someone else go.
I can talk through my. So I sent like an 18-point marketing plan or something to you guys.
So that seems like a lot to me, Chuck. Honestly.
Yeah, it's a lot to do.
It seems like a list of ideas that we need to cull down a little bit.
Well,
Pick out the high value stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Unless you legitimately think you can do all that.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: is so I made the list, and I sent it to you guys, and I sent it to my other mastermind group, and I got the feedback almost immediately that it's like, that's a lot of work. Don't kill yourself trying to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And then the advice was, put it into your calendar, and that way you know how much you can get done. And so that's the approach I'm taking. So I've put stuff in, so I've scheduled when I'm going to be on Periscope, and I've scheduled when I'm going to, be on unfollowers.com and, autopilot for LinkedIn and doing all that stuff. I've got some time scheduled to reach out to podcasts. I've got time scheduled to figure out who I can get on webinars and when I can do those. I'm using Edgar to post to Twitter, so I really don't have to do a whole lot there, but I've scheduled like 15 minutes or so here or there to add tweets to the bucket.
On that, you're using Edgar, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually probably going to do this soon too, but you can just use a spreadsheet and do a bulk import. It's a lot faster to write tweets and do it that way.
Okay. I am having a little bit of trouble coming up with more than like 10 tweets because it's, hey, we've got so-and-so speaking, and hey, do you want to know more about this? And yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. So if you're going to do, are these one-time use too then?
No.
Like you're not, no, you're going to recycle them? Okay.
I'm recycling them, but, they'll only show up maybe once a week. Or.
Yeah. Because the one-time, we talked about that on the list, I think. The one-time use feature doesn't work well with importing right now for Edgar. I did, Derek, I did email them, and they said that they're working on some other bulk import stuff, and they might.
That'd be good.
Yeah, they might. They're going to throw this at the developers and see what they thought. So.
Yeah, because when I'm trying to do a promotion or something for a launch or a sale, it's really painful to use Edgar for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to your email contest? I don't mean to derail. Yeah. Well, how many?
Oh, it's still running. I have I'm closing in on 28,000.
Okay.
So it seems like
Awesome.
it's ticking along at about 1,000 a day. If you look at Google Analytics, it's like a huge spike for the first day, and then when I sent the email, and then it drops back down, and it's been clicking along at maybe like 5,000 page views a day, I think.
Mhm.
And then around 1,000 email signups, and then I'm going to probably, I have another email scheduled to go out to everyone who's signed up as part of the contest. In MailChimp, I set up an email to go out on the last day, so I should get another spike out of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I
great.
think it'll probably be around. Well, I've got like another. It's going to end next week, the 20th. So I've got like. It'll probably be around 35 to 40,000, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy this time with how I have everybody coming into MailChimp. Although that would have just killed me last time.
Yeah.
But this time it's nice because I send them an email immediately, so I should get a lot less like, hey, you haven't contacted me in 3 weeks, and now you're sending me this, and I'm going to hit the spam button, which is what happened to me last time, and I got slapped by MailChimp for that. So hopefully this time, I don't want to keep getting. I'm not going to use my MailChimp account, but I don't want to lose it either. So I don't want to get slapped repeatedly. They were not happy. Like I told their support people that I had imported signups from a contest, and they were not happy. They were like, "That is against our terms of service." Blah 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 blah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I think sending the welcome email, having the sign up come in right away, sending the welcome email kind of alleviates that problem, and people can unsubscribe right then if they want. But
I keep wondering if this is something that I could do to promote some of the things I'm doing.
I mean, I think it gets you. The nice thing about it, so it definitely, they're a lower quality of subscriber than you'd get from blogging, but it does get you like a base, kind of like a base of people, and it's an easy way to hack getting a base of people that can, they'll share stuff, and it's like it'll drive traffic even if they're not.
Right.
Even if only a smaller number of people are going to actually.
What are you giving away?
Just one copy of Sublime, again.
That's so wild.
It's like
1,000 people.
So many people signing up for one copy of Sublime.
it's so funny. It's like what are you fishing for, Josh? A whale. What are you using for bait? A marshmallow. One.
Not the big ones that you make s'mores with.
Yeah.
The little ones.
Tiny ones.
That you put in hot cocoa. Those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, how much does Sublime Text even cost?
$70.
$30.
70.
70.
Oh,
Okay.
70?
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
I should probably do another giveaway. I haven't done one in like a year.
It's crazy. The prize doesn't matter. I mean, like, it's not the value of the prize. It's the context of the prize. It's so weird. I mean, I did the last contest, like the big contest I did. I gave away an iPad, a Google Nexus, and and then the Google phone. Like, I gave away over $1,000 worth of hardware, and I got like 3 signups.
Yeah.
That was the one where you had to write a game, though, right?
Yeah, but still, I mean,
There was a barrier to entry there.
yeah, I guess if I made it free, maybe then I would have gotten a lot of signups. But
yeah, you would have gotten a lot of useless signups.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's I mean it's definitely worth doing. It gets you, if nothing else, it gets you a little core of people that that will promote your stuff and pay attention to you and stuff. So probably would be worth doing at some point.
Yeah, I just don't know what I'd give away either.
Yeah, that can be tricky. For you, and what would you be looking? Which list would you be looking to build? Just your.
Probably Ruby on Rails.
give away the most popular Ruby thing.
Is there like is RubyMine, is that a IDE?
Yes.
See, a lot of the trouble is like probably a lot of people are using Emacs or Vim.
Yes.
Too, so it's going to be tougher to find.
Give RubyMine away with the Vim plugin.
Yeah, there you go.
The
Just
RubyMine Vim plugin. I love it.
Clone Tim Pope's repo
Exactly.
GitHub account and like try to sell it. You know, I'm sure he'd be happy about that too.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I may be able to give away. I mean, you don't have to give away just one thing either, so I could give away a handful of Prog books or something.
Yeah, see, I think that my opinion is that a pile of stuff is less compelling than one thing that people really want. I've seen a lot of people try to do like grab bag things, and if you can't describe what it is in a tweet, it's not going to get a lot of traction.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be crystal clear from the tweet, like from a tweet. Or basically, I tell people the title of the giveaway is what's going to go in the tweet, and that has to be crystal clear what people are getting, or it's just not going to go anywhere.
Well, the other thing is though is that I really don't have a problem like doing a RubyMine giveaway. A lot of the Emacs and Vim folks, if they need some like heavy power tool to debug something, a lot of times they will fire up an IDE that does the work.
I mean, if it's got enough of a base that you think people would want it, there's enough people out there that would want it, then
yeah. Deeply thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, so I had an interesting opportunity this week. Well, I don't know if it'll pan out. Called me. They want me to like head up one of their Java courses. Like,
who is this? Sorry, you totally like wigged out on me.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, Udacity.
It was like
Oh, Udacity. Okay.
Udacity. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's the courseware company, right?
Yeah, they do those micro degrees. Those like they're involved with Google, like the nano degrees. But they wanted me, of course, to come on as an employee, which I was like, no.
You guys are funny.
You're like,
I don't know who I am.
I will be happy to be your employee as long as I can work 2 hours a week and take off at least 6 months a year. And make
pay me six figures.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're talking about ways I could work with them. Most likely, it'll be some kind of advisory role with a retainer, and then probably some equity or something like that. That'd be probably the only thing that I'd really realistically entertain. But it's kind of cool, kind of interesting opportunity. Like I'd like to work with them because they're building some pretty cool stuff, but.
Do they have any kind of like what's in the curriculum or anything on these?
Like
so like I'm looking at oh, I see. They do have the degree structure with all the projects. I'm getting a little bit of echo when I talk, by the way.
Yeah, somebody's echoing bad.
Shouldn't be coming from me. Do we all have headsets? Did that fix it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that fixed it.
Oh, that was me then.
The echo.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I'm seeing a lot of this. Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of an interesting idea.
What would you be doing again? You'd be, you want to be more of an advisory. What would they want you to create courses for them?
Well, yeah. So they have a whole team that works to create a course. Not one person creates a course.
Oh, okay.
So it's more of a rigorous process of building the exercises and the application, because they have custom apps that do the testing and verify the code and projects and stuff.
Right.
So they work. So it'd be kind of cool to work on a team helping to build like one of these courses. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see if there's some way. I definitely was not going to entertain being an employee, but.
Nice. Chuck, did you want to go through that list that you sent us? And do you have a good sense for what in there is like the highest value stuff? Your marketing list?
Yeah. So the highest value that I found is basically reaching out to other people who have audiences and getting them to promote it. And so I've actually sent out. I've also found that I get a lot more traffic and a lot more signups from people when I give them some kind of incentive to come to my website and not just, hey, early bird's up soon. So I actually have been sending out coupon codes to various podcasts and podcast audiences, and I've gotten some feedback from some of them where they're super excited to give out the coupon code because like, oh wow, you're doing us a big favor. So that's working out nicely. So I'm really reaching out right now to podcast hosts. I need to reach out to Peter Cooper, JavaScript Weekly, and that kind of thing. And then I've also the next most the next biggest payout usually or payoff comes from talking to people who have been on the show.
Yeah.
So I talk to podcast guests. They usually have a following, and so then I can get them to promote it. I'm also going to be talking to the Angular core team and seeing if I can get them to tweet it and talk about it there too. So, and then I'm keeping track of which coupon codes work out so that I can see which avenues are paying off. And then I want to do a couple of webinars this time to try and do that. And that's just kind of so people get in, they can tweet about the webinar, they can talk about the format, they can tell people they liked it, and I can also maybe get a few of them to buy tickets.
Right.
Yep.
And that way I get I can get some social proof besides the other conferences from the core target market that I'm trying to hit. So those are kind of the big, huge things. The unfollowers thing and the LinkedIn thing that I'm doing. I mean, that takes me like 10 minutes a day, so I figure why not?
Yep.
And then I'm just trying to find other forums where people get together and talk about Angular. So that's why I'm looking at LinkedIn groups, I'm looking at Reddit, I'm looking at some of these other places, and I'm actually not planning on pushing the conference per se. What I am going to be doing is I'm going to post to them and try and get a little bit of traction with the group first, and then one of the posts will then be the, hey, I am putting on a conference for this, and we are going to be talking, somebody's going to be talking about this topic, and but it's going to be really more nonchalant than a hard pitch on those groups.
Have you you've probably looked at Google Plus already?
I haven't really been looking deeply at Google Plus.
I would for most things I wouldn't even bother, but for Angular, I remember there was a pretty large number of people in the Angular group.
You can jump into all the communities, like the biggest software development JavaScript communities, and then do a post in there. Like I do that every once in a while, and I mean it's manual, but you do get a decent amount of traffic.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome to do that, like for every blog post. but yeah, you can definitely generate traffic that way.
Those groups are pretty heavily moderated usually. So if you did do it with at least the ones I've tried posting in before.
Yeah, but the other thing is that you can also, in a lot of cases, like put it on your profile, and then people will click through to see what you're about.
Also, I don't know. We could potentially do something on Simple Programmer. I could do an interview with you. What date is the Angular Conf?
It's September 24th through 26th.
We might have time to put that together. Like Derek's just went live today. But I could do an interview with you talking about Angular. Talking about doing an online conference. And the benefits of that, and then we could do like the Q&A on the blog post, and then post that on Simple Programmer.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, you could focus that interview around the purpose of an online conference and how it makes it easier for people that have a job where they can't take a week off or whatever. And
right.
You could really play up that angle a lot and get a lot of interest in it.
Right. Okay. Well, the other thing is usually the most expensive part of me going to a conference
is travel.
The airfare and hotel. It's not the, so.
Yeah. Okay. We need some kind of angle that's going to give like the audience value to, like, as to, I mean, more than just a story, but something like what they can learn. I guess we can think about that. Maybe either something like about Angular or using Angular, or something
Yeah, I can talk about
Yeah.
the benefits of using Angular, and then I already have 4 of the speakers lined up, and I mean one of them is talking about basically your website experience and animations and how you can enhance your experience with animations with Angular. We also have Brad Green, who's the project manager for Angular from Google, is
Yeah.
going to
Okay.
speak, and so and then Kent Dodds from Angular Air podcast, he's going to come on and speak about. He's pretty involved, and I don't remember exactly what he's going to be talking about. And then Netflix just released a new system called Falcor, which is built on Angular, and Jafar Hussein is going to come talk about that too. So
Cool. Okay.
and
Okay.
I'm going to have all kinds of other people from the Angular community, and that's the other thing that you get from these conferences is since they don't have to travel, a lot of times it's easier for somebody to squeeze in a talk on these conferences, and so you get a wider and more interesting group of people speaking at them.
That's true. Yep. Oh, speaking at conferences, I guess what are we doing with Onto Programmers Retreat?
Nothing.
I keep
Absolutely nothing.
I guess we're
One
not
of my
doing it, then,
mentors,
right?
he said we never retreat. So when they get together, they have an advance, is what they call it.
That
No
was our
retreat, no surrender.
that was our
person.
problem.
That sounds like that person lives in Texas.
He lives in Tennessee,
Okay.
but yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what should we do?
probably want to pull the plug on this at this point. We talked about getting together, all of us. I'm actually considering. So, I'm going to be meeting this week with a coach to possibly that I might be hiring to help me get my business going here, and one of the really pretty much all copywriters tell you that you need to go to conferences to get clients. Like that's the number one way to do it. So I'm actually thinking that I might need to budget for that. So I might not have like two conferences in my budget for this quarter, or like 2 trips. Just throwing that out there. So I'm thinking I might need to do one in like September, October, if there's anything available.
Another possibility, if you guys want to do some kind of sun location, I will be in San Diego in January and February. So we
That could be fun.
Something. Yeah.
I'm
It's a
planning
little
on
expensive.
going to CES this next January, so I can just drive the rest of the way, I guess.
That's cool. I should go to CES. You're just going for fun, just to go to CES.
Yeah, I didn't go this last year, but I went the year before that. And did I go 2 years or just 1 year? I think I just went the 1 year, but and then I went to CES. They have an advanced thing for press because I always get a press pass. I've been 2 years, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there, and a lot of industry contacts you can make and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Nice.
You might be able to finagle it with Simple Programmer. Get a press.
Yeah. It's a video game review site, isn't it? Simple Programmer.
Well, I just get the press pass because I have Ruby Rogues and JavaScript Jabber, and it's industry enough, and I get enough traffic that they just give me one.
Oh, okay. Well, would be fun. But anyway, I guess we should figure out. I mean, what do you guys think for doing some kind of a meetup? It'll probably just be us because.
Yeah. So what I would like to get out of something where we all get together is, we kind of we all take an intensive look at each other's businesses and, get that kind of feedback that you can't get in 2 hours because we're just talking, in general about what's going on, or maybe about one specific that we're concerned about. It'd be like, look, these are the things I'm really aiming for, and these are the things I'm really doing for it, and just, being able to really dig deep on this stuff. So it'd have to be 2 or 3 days, I think. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm happy to travel wherever. to do it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm same. I'm happy to travel wherever, but just barring like January, February.
Yeah.
Will you be out there for that whole time?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So another 2-month excursion.
Yes. We're checking out the area.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you've talked about moving out there.
I gotta look at the tax implications. So, but
Yeah, that should be interesting.
yeah.
Going from no state tax to
Yeah.
California.
I'm talking
Isn't
with
it
some
like
big
10%?
accounting firms. Yeah, it can go up to 13. But
You
I'm
could probably
talking,
like shield some of that with like incorporating and
yeah, I'm talking
another
to some
state.
big accounting firms now, and like, I mean, simple program like Pluralsight royalties and simple programmer income doesn't come from me working in a location, right? So
Right.
technically, like the income could be not California. I think I don't know. Obviously, there's some accountant out there. If you go high enough, an accounting firm that can make it so you're not going to pay, the taxes that you would. So
Right.
I have to find them and pay them.
Well, you probably will have to pay, I would imagine, some kind of income tax on some kind of income that you
On
pay
what comes
yourself.
to me, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but if the Pluralsight income comes in off of a business, then you may wind up paying like capital gains or something on it. Because
Something like that. I mean, the
it's-
business will be out of the state of California, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you have to talk to an
some way
attorney.
to structure it.
Uh,
Yeah, so there's a way
accountant.
to structure it, I think. But
I think we can figure it out here,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. We'll just put it out here.
and then we can periscope it.
But it
There
could
we
be
go.
worth like $50,000-$60,000, so it's probably
Yeah.
worth figuring out. So
Yeah. Yeah, I like visiting
Anyway.
San Diego. As far as like actually living there, I don't know if I'd want to live there, but
we're going to be staying downtown in near Little Italy area, like because I tend to like downtown areas, especially after traveling Europe. I found that I like the downtown, the big city life.
right. But yeah, I'm totally comfortable with moving it to January or February and doing it in San Diego, or we could pick somewhere else. I don't know what restrictions Josh and Derek have.
Yeah, it has to be planned around everything else, but I mean, I don't have anything huge going on in those time frames right now.
My calendar's open from like December 24th to December 27th, so maybe we could do no.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm free then too. Yeah. Well, we'll have to compare calendars and then make a decision.
Yeah. Derek,
Okay,
you
yeah,
want
so just start thinking about it then.
I think I'm gonna go turn off the drip.
Yeah, I already disabled the Eventbrite.
Okay. We move fast around here.
We do.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting too, just to think about. Okay, so we've got. I mean, I don't have access to the Libsyn stats, but how many subscribers do you think we have, Derek, based on the?
Let me pull up Libsyn. When we were on Signal Leaf, we had like 1,000 RSS subscribers and about
Yeah.
oh man, I don't remember how many downloads per episode. Yeah, we're looking at 12,000 downloads, 11,000 downloads in July. We're at 4,800 for August already, so we'll probably hit a little more than 11,000 this month. I don't know, man. Biting my tongue. I don't know where to find the RSS subscriber.
I don't think it's in there.
Okay,
I
I
never
paused
saw it in Libsyn.
So- Should I just
Open
delete
RSS
Should I delete the thing entirely, Derek? Because I think then you'll get like a 404. Right now, like, well, no, you know what it is. Maybe you can disable our redirect or redirect
Yeah.
it back to the homepage or something
Right.
on the Launcher
Let's
Programmers.
do that.
Because
Yeah.
I think we
I don't know how
have a
many
big enough
subscribers we have.
We
community.
have no. I don't really think.
I don't think we
I was
do.
skeptical that we were going to sell any, honestly, because it's a. I mean,
Well, it's a high ticket item too. and we
it's a
haven't
high
really-
ticket item, and I think we'd need more like 50 or 100,000 people to be able to sell a substantial.
Yeah,
number.
because you're talking. I mean, $1,200 for the ticket plus airfare is going to put you over 2,000 plus.
Mhm.
You know, whatever else your time is worth. I mean, you're talking probably $3,000 to $4,000 for somebody to actually go do that, and
right.
without
That's true,
an
that's true,
explicit business plan and you know way for them to justify it to boss and wife and whoever else is important. It's an incredibly difficult
Yeah.
thing to do.
I think like with something like this, the biggest I've seen people try to sell tickets to an event for like $250 and struggle because it's the giving up of the 2 days and the travel, you know, all that stuff is like a huge amount of overhead, even if it's not like hitting you directly. You know, you're not writing a check for that amount of money, but it's a big amount of time to take off. So I've seen people with like 50,000 people on their list struggle to sell out like a 50 or 100 seat conference that they were putting together. So for
Okay.
$250 a pop.
Well, let's. I mean, I guess let's talk about it next time. Maybe we can talk about dates, and we can do something just us, right?
Right.
And then
Yep.
and then we can maybe the next year expand it or do something slightly larger, and see with, you know, we'll have tents and stuff. we'll be camping.
Nice.
Yeah, the other thing we could do is we could also do like a virtual get together where people can come and get our opinions on stuff, and then we don't have the travel expenses to contend with.
Yeah.
Like some kind
Like
of
a virtual
online
conference.
conference.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know.
Well,
It's a crazy
Bumble or
idea,
something like
but-
this.
Might
Well,
work.
so my thinking is we could do that too, but maybe sort of a virtual retreat or a broader mastermind where we have, you know, another 6 or so people or 10 or so people that, you know, we all get on a Google Hangout or something, and you know, and then people can just bring whatever they're going to bring and show us what they want us to see, and then say, okay, so
Yeah.
you know, build it up, tear it down, let me know.
Gosh, by the way, we missed the boat on the podcast recorder. Like, how many
Yeah, we
people
did.
like took our idea and
There's
like
a dozen of them out there
there's,
now.
there's, there is there's like a dozen of them now that do exactly what we were talking about. I don't know if, I mean, obviously we knew that eventually
The
this was
question is,
going
are
to
they
be
making
discovered.
any money?
But,
Yeah.
someone will in that space for
Yeah.
sure, because it makes sense. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but that's another thing that we should talk about too, is doing our like challenges, and I think, I mean, we were doing the day thing, which maybe we should go around and pick that back up, where we did a day of working on Derek's stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
We should do like a day of working on the rest of our
That way we
stuff.
can guarantee somebody else will shut their business down.
Exactly.
But
We'll call it the day of wasted work.
The day of death to business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but we should do that and do some more of the challenges stuff.
yeah,
It's hard too. Like, we originally like thought about doing this podcast for the idea of creating like a membership, like, you know, matching people up, helping them to run masterminds.
Hmm.
But I don't know for where that is. But we should definitely pick up at least do kind of the challenges type of thing, or during the day. I think would be cool. Because then we'll really dig into each other's businesses too and help out too. I think now we're at a point where we could use the help too. Each one of us could probably use some help with that kind of stuff. So.
Mhm.
we running out of steam here.
I didn't have
Anyone
any
else
steam
got it?
to start with.
Derek had no steam.
I've got
Pretty weak.
I've got a bunch of guest posts that went live on Simple Programmer, so that
Awesome.
process is going smooth now.
You got some hate.
Oh yeah.
I saw the hate.
Yeah, if you send me a nasty email, like a nasty email, I'm not a negative email. A negative email is fine, but if you send me just a nasty email, I will post your email in Pastebin with your email address and put it on Twitter. So just so you're aware of that. Because that's what I did this week. I was like, screw this guy. I'm not even going to reply back to him. I'm going to put his, if he wants to say that, the world should see what he said. So.
That's like funny. His parents down and tell his parents what he's been saying to people.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to call his parents next time. If you send me crappy email like that, I'll call your parents.
You got some definite replies to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were piling on.
Yeah. That's funny. But
that's a nice way to use that actually is an effective tactic because you're basically you're drawing a line in the sand, right? And you're kind of saying which side are you on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the people that cross over and come to your side of the line are going to be that much stronger, bonded to you.
Exactly, yeah, because they fought that battle, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny. How's your traffic looking so far? Is it making much of a difference?
It's hard to tell because that one article I did on the 7 things your boss doesn't understand about software development.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's been spreading like wildfire across the internets. Unfortunately, D-Zone picked it up right away, and then the D-Zone version of it, where they republished it, got 17,000 views. I mean, it's not so totally unfortunate. I've got tons of links of my stuff in there, but.
So they they take the content and republish it?
Yeah, occasionally, when they find
stuff.
So, which it's better to get the exposure, and it's got tons of links in there, right, to my site. So it's really not bad because I load my blog post with links now.
Right.
But so yeah, I can't really tell yet. It's still a little early to tell on how the traffic's going to shape from this, but we'll see. I think it's going to end up being good. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Majority of my traffic, 70% of my traffic comes from Google, right? So that means that that sheer number of volume of content is going to be the thing that is going to be the primary factor in influence traffic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's just no way to argue. If it was 50% or 40%, then there would be a way to argue it. But when you're looking at those stats and it's 70% of your traffic comes from Google, then obviously increasing the number of posts, getting to the point of having a post a day is going to make a huge difference in the traffic. It's going to take some time, but like I said, the goal is to get to 1 million page views a month, and I think I will get there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't doubt it.
That actually reminds me. So I guested on the Web Security Warriors podcast. I don't know if I technically guested because I technically kind of own it. But I'm not on it every week.
Yeah.
And anyway, one of the picks was basically a pick that said that blogging it's hard to get started and it's hard to get traction, and most people quit before they get traction. And so the real point is just creating that traffic or creating that content that drives people into you have to get over the hump. You're going to blog for 6 months without a lot of people reading your stuff.
Right.
And then you start getting found on Google and everything else, and then you get traction that way.
Yeah, and it may take longer. I mean, it really may take several years to get to any decent amount, but it's pretty hard to you're not going to fail if you keep doing it. It's just that so many people won't do it. Another interesting thing about that is so that company that I'm a tech advisor for, Health Hero, they hired a new CTO, right? And so I was meeting with him, and he was like, a friend of mine sent me this article on 7 things your boss doesn't understand about software development. And he's like, and then I read it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome, that's great. And then he looked, and he said, I looked at the bottom, and I was like, I didn't even realize that you wrote it. That's kind of cool. The more of those coincidences that I hear about like that, the better. That means that it's spreading around
Yeah.
better, the brand. So
Okay, I lied. It wasn't on Web Security Warriors, though. Plug for that. It was Ray Wenderlich, who has the big blog and training system for iOS developers. He's the one that posted it.
okay.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, it takes time to get traction. So it was really cool.
Yeah, but I think that the strategy is going to work out well. Oh, today will be the first day that Get Up and Code will be recording as a panel.
Cool.
Eric's got that going. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it'll go smooth. It's so hard, like turning over the control of all these things, processes, to have someone else running these things. But once I get to that point, like I'm almost free of like everything. I need to get 2 years worth of email newsletter, like weekly posts, so that when someone signs up for my mailing list, I don't have to do broadcast emails every week. I want to have 2 years in the kitty, so that it's like, okay. And then after that, it's fine. Like, you're not going to hear from me. But if you're hearing from me for 2 years, that's enough. Like, it's going to be, aside from, I mean, you'll still get RSS, but I think having 2 years worth of content would be. What do you think about that, Josh? That was a question I was going to ask you about.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty solid. You're already front loading a bunch of stuff, right? Like everybody's coming in through some kind of course, or that would be the one thing I'd really recommend, would be to make sure that everybody comes in as much as possible through some kind of channel where they're getting hit, every day for a week or 2 weeks. And then beyond that, yeah, like once a week is fine. And for 2 years, yeah, that's going to be, potentially they'll be getting 2 emails from you if they're on the RSS.
Exactly. Most people do, and they can opt out of just the RSS. But now the RSS email is actually going to be really valuable because it's going to have like 10 blog posts on there. So
right.
So that's going to become a lot more valuable.
The other thing that you can do, the approach that I really like my favorite, is to not do the one, like not to do the one once a week thing, but to do multiple channels. So you come in, you sign up for your How to Build a Blog course, and then those emails, so you get those emails, and then you continue to get emails for 2 years, but they taper off, but they're all about blogging. And then at some point in there, you tell them, hey, I have this other course about, I don't know, like something else you can do to boost your career. And that puts them on a second stream of emails that does the same thing. Starts off intense and then tapers off. And then that way you can kind of keep getting yourself, and the people that are really interested in you, you can keep getting yourself in front of them more strongly than the once a week thing. There's some benefit to that because it's consistent, but also sometimes people will just tune you out. You're kind of giving everybody the same treatment, whether or not they really want to hear from you once a week.
True.
And the other way, you kind of like let people opt in to more and more stuff, and they hear from you more often.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to come up with a strategy as long as it's automated, so that I'm not on the hook to write every week.
The nice thing about that is that approach, like with what you're doing, the once a week thing, you have to create 200 emails. With this other thing, you can kind of build out the streams independent of each other, and you can take 10 or 15 or 20 emails and string them out for 2 years.
Yeah, that's a good
And if
point.
you're on three of these, right, then you're getting emails like once a week or every couple, maybe even a couple times a week if you're really into what you're doing.
Yep. That makes sense.
But
cool. Okay, yeah, I'll have to come up with a strategy. But then that'll pretty much be it. Is like, I mean, it was a good test. Also, just going on this trip for 3 months, can I actually like run a business, run everything? Have I gotten to the point where I can do it working 1 day a week? And I basically can, aside from email, like answering email. But I've thought about also like I might be able to cut down email work. I mean, Andrew answers a lot of my emails, but I'm thinking I might also like just be able to have him start like have a generic response that when someone asks me a question that says that I can't answer all the questions, but I'll probably do a YouTube video on something to say that I can't answer them personally, but it's going to go into a list, and then I'll pick from there. This way I'm not spending as much time, and because email still ends up being like an hour a day no matter what. It's just I don't know how to stop that. How much time do you guys spend or it'd be interesting if we all like tracked our time specifically, like to see how many.
Yeah, I have been tracking mine pretty closely, and probably like an hour. I try to. Email is tricky for me because like a lot of my email is actually like work too, because I'm answering. I'm like coordinating something with a client, so it's not like just going through and answering a bunch of people who are asking me questions. It's like actually planning something for a client, or back and forth to hash stuff out. So it's kind of like where does that really fit? Is that like editing? Is it because if we're discussing changes to something I've written, is that really email? But yeah, for me it's probably half an hour to an hour a day. I'm still doing the thing where I only get my emails twice a day, and I try to blow through and like archive and deal with as many as I can in like less than 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then I just star. Right now I've got like 20 some items starred. Yeah, like about 20 items starred that I need to get to at some point.
Yeah, I don't know if I know that. I mean, I have an idea. Like I think I spend about a half hour a day on email, but I haven't actually measured it, which means that number's probably completely wrong. But yeah, I kind of take the same approach where I just go through and clear everything out that I can either handle quickly or is okay, good information, get out of my face, and then I go back later on and I'll handle all the other stuff.
John, I don't know, like one thing that could help would be, are you doing like any kind of 3-sentence rule or anything where you try to just, have you seen that? Like there's some website where they recommend trying to answer every email in less than 3 sentences. It's like almost like a game.
But
you know what I'm talking about?
I don't really. I'm pretty close to do that anyway. Like I don't usually send back long responses to emails anyway. So it's not the like typing up the email is the easy part. It's
thinking about it and
and
the volume.
Yep.
Yeah, and the volume because I end up with a pretty decent volume. I have to go through and like be methodological about how like classify the email, where it's coming from. Can I I should put together, like, it'd be interesting to put together some kind of a system and be like, okay, the first step is you look at the email and you say, for the category, is it possible to eliminate?
You're gonna get killed in an accident. Like, no one's gonna know. Like, you're gonna have this system set up. It goes on for like 20 years. The bot John, like.
But you should I want to work on new things, so I have to like get this going. I never thought, didn't think about that from the beginning. If I were starting a new business today, I would start it off on autopilot from I would make sure that every single thing I add to the business was automatable, a process. I might have to do it manually at first, but it was doable by someone else that would not tie me to the thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge value in that.
When you get started, you don't have the money to pay somebody else to do it, and you're scrambling to get crap done, and you're just happy if it works out. And so, yeah.
Okay. Well, Josh disappeared. I guess we should all probably be. I've got to go record and get up in code anyway. So, panel.
I've got to hop on Periscope. It's on my calendar.
There you go. All right, guys. I will be in London next.
Cool.
So far, there's like 66 people that signed up for the London meet.
Nice.
Cool. That's awesome. Are we going to do thoughts of the day, or are we just going to wrap it up?
I think John froze, and I got nothing.
John did froze.
Yep. All right, we're gonna have like an hour of John froze at the very end.
That was odd.
Yep.
It decided to drop me off. So
Yeah. So my thought of the day is along the lines of what John was just saying, actually, and that is, I keep having to look up quotes because I keep doing the Sergeant at Arms at Toastmasters, and so I've been thinking about this quote all day yesterday, and then I get to share it today. And that is, it's by Jack Welch, who was the CEO of GE, and he said, "Control your destiny, or someone else will." And so,
Nice.
if you can build the automations, if you can be deliberate about the work you're doing, about the choices you're making, about the things that you're thinking about, and use that to kind of steer the direction that you're going in, then you're in control. But if you don't, then it's the other stuff that comes up that takes control. And so, that could be clients, that could be customers, that could be the business just, going the direction it's going, and you not really taking the reins and figuring out what you want to do with it, or what outcomes you want to do with it. So, it's that deliberate action that steers you to the place that you want to be going in, and thus you control your own destiny. And otherwise, other people will hijack it for you.
yeah. Cool. I've got one. Mine actually. So I was watching a documentary last night about the human body, and they said in there 317,000 people are born every day. And I thought about that because sometimes it's like, well, I don't know about you, but I have these questions like, well, have I already reached my audience? Like, how many more people are going to visit my website or sign up for my email list who haven't signed up before? Doesn't like I don't understand how I'm still like I'm worried about the future because I'm thinking that how could I keep going? How could I keep getting people to sign up who hasn't heard of me by now type of thing? And when you think about it, if there's 317,000 people born every day, that also means that on average, 100,000 people get their CS degree every day or whatever it is. I don't know if it's 100,000, but 50,000 people search on the web for the first time for programming blog, and 10,000 people decide that they're going to start a business or whatever it is. There's this constant stream of people that are coming into your audience that are totally new, that are just coming into it every day. So there's I guess it just helps to think from an abundance perspective, right? Mm-hmm. There's always more people coming in.
Yeah, the other thing that came to mind when you were saying that's related to that is that you don't necessarily need more, you just need enough.
Yeah, true.
And enough can be a few hundred, it can be a few thousand, it could be a few 100,000, but don't discount that either. Go deep with the people who are in your camp, and then then it may not matter that you're not growing at the same rate as your competitors because you have enough people who are rabid fans of what you do.
Yeah.
And if you go check out a friend of mine, Cliff Ravenscraft, if you check out Podcast Answer Man episode 414, he actually gave a talk about this, and it was awesome. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right, Derek.
I got nothing.
Nothing?
Nope.
Am I still coming through? My video is just frozen again.
You're still fine.
Okay, I can't actually end the broadcast, so I have to open it. Oh wait a minute. Oh no, never mind. Yeah, I was looking at the frozen window. So.
Okay.
This is the show that doesn't end. Is it go? No, sorry.
All right, guys. Same time.
Yeah.
Next week.
See you next week.
All right. See you next week.
Yeah.